Hey guys, Prowl 1701 here, and today on Knights of the Round Table, we are going to be checking out your comments to the video that was done a month or two back. It was one of the It's Armageddon videos. It was the It's Armageddon, what would you do if you could only save one story from each season of classic Doctor Who? So if you could only save one story from each classic season, which one would you save and why? Now, of course, in that video, I gave my own list, so if you want to know the ones I would save, check out that video. That'll tell you the ones I would choose and why I would choose them. But today we're going to go over the feedback I got from you guys, and we're going to look at the ones you would save. So let me put on my eyeballs here. It humbles me to say that. And I even pinned the comment. I can see I'm already going to have to do a Knights of the Round Table video discussing the comments. Should be fun. So, starting off with Hudson Media, who is a fellow Doctor Who YouTuber who does fantastic Doctor Who remixes. He says, I love these videos. Aha, here's my list. I'll write them as you do yours to see if they're similar. For season 1, he would save the Aztecs. Season 2, the Time Meddler. Oh, I definitely think that's a good choice for season 2. Season 3, the Daleks Master Plan. Season 4, Power of the Daleks. Season 5, The Web of Fear, which definitely would not have been mine, but it is a good story. Season 6, The Mind Robber. I love The Mind Robber. Season 7, Spearhead from Space. Season 8, The Claws of Axos, which is my least favorite of Season 8. That would be the one I'd give away if I only had to give away one from each season. Bye-bye, Claws of Axos. But it still has good stuff in it. Season 9, The Curse of Peladon. Season 10, The Green Death. Season 11, Invasion of the Dinosaurs. Season 12, The Ark in Space, a classic. Season 13, The Android Invasion. The what? The Android Invasion? Why? It's the weakest of the season. Don't get me wrong, it's fine. The Android Invasion is still a good story. But you have like the greatest season Doctor Who's ever made, probably objectively, and you keep the weakest story, the Android. Why? I think it was reading this one where I knew I was like, I'm gonna have to do a Knights of the Round Table video. Because as soon as I read Android Invasion, I just started sputtering. Season 14, The Mask of Mandragora, which is another controversial choice. I think a lot of people would sputter at that one. I personally can understand it. I like Mask of Mandragora. I think it's better than Deadly Assassin. I don't know if it's better than Robots of Death, but I like watching it more than I do Robots of Death. It's a very underrated story. So I actually like seeing it get some love here. Season 15, Horror of Fang Rock, of course. Season 16, The Armageddon Factor, another interesting choice. 17, The City of Death. 18, The Keeper of Traken. 19, Castrovalva. I love Castrovalva. It's my favorite Davison story, so it's nice seeing it get some love. Season 20, Enlightenment, another strong choice. 21, Resurrection of the Daleks. 22, Revelation of the Daleks. 23, Terror of the Vervoids. 24, Paradise Towers. 25, Remembrance of the Daleks. And 26, Curse of Fenric. And I think those last few are all very strong choices. Looking at Charlie Turner. He says, Season 1, The Daleks. Season 2, The Time Meddler. Season 3, The Daleks Master Plan, although he does add minus the Feast of Stephen. Season 4, Evil of the Daleks. Season 5, Enemy of the World, which is another one I find overrated personally, but still a good watch. Troughton's putting in such performances in it. Season 6, The War Games. Season 7, Inferno. Yes. Season 8, The Mind of Evil. Yes. Season 9, The Sea Devils. Season 10, The Green Death. Season 11, The Time Warrior, a strong choice. Love The Time Warrior. My favorite Sontaran story. Season 12, Genesis, perfectly understandable. 13, The Seeds of Doom. 14, The Deadly Assassin. I find The Deadly Assassin very overrated, but I can see why people would keep it. 15 is The Horror of Fang Rock. 16, The Ribos Operation. Love seeing it get some love. That's one of my favorite Tom Baker stories. 17, The City of Death. 18, The Keeper of Traken. 19, Earthshot. 20, The Five Doctors, if you count it as part of the season, which I do. Or Ark of Infinity, if you don't. Which, I love Ark of Infinity. It's another very underrated story. I'm a big fan of it. I tend to like Series 20 as a whole, though, to be honest. Season 21 is Resurrection. 22 is Vengeance. 23, The Ultimate Foe. Ultimate Foe starts out good and kind of tapers off. 24, Dragonfire. 25, Remembrance of the Daleks, and 26, The Curse of Fenric. Ben Heron says, don't complain about too many Armageddons. I love that there's an excuse for these disasters. And it's part of the charm that we can just stay around the collection for 20 minutes deciding on which stories to take. Keep up the good work. Lots of Armageddons happen around me. Maybe I'm just a bad luck charm. I don't know. Henry Andrews says, amazing video. This is going to be tough. I've had to choose a couple for some seasons, as it's impossible for me to choose just one. In other words, the world would be doomed. I've picked based on what I like and have seen from those seasons. My choices may not be the same as others. Season 1, Marco Polo. But one completely missing story. But I hear Marco Polo is great, and I did enjoy the 30-minute cut down of it. 2 is the Dalek Invasion of Earth. 3, the Daleks Master Plan or Celestial Toymaker. 4, the 10th Planet or Power of the Daleks or the Highlanders. 5 is Abominable Snowmen or Web of Fear. 6, The Invasion. The Invasion is such a strong story. 7, Spearhead. 8, Terror of the Autons. 9, The Sea Devils. 10, The Three Doctors. I love the Three Doctors. I think that might be the one I picked as well. I don't remember. It's either The Three Doctors or Green Death. Number 11, Time Warrior or Planet of the Spiders. 12 is Robot or Genesis of the Daleks. 13 is Terror of the Autons. I think he meant Zygons. He wrote Terror of the Autons, but I'm pretty sure he meant Terror of the Zygons. Or Pyramids of Mars. 14 is The Talons of Wing Chiang. Excellent choice. 15, Horror of Fang Rock. Ham's going to love that choice. 16, not seen any stories from this season in their entirety, so can't comment. You should. Season 16 is good. You know, aside from a certain squid-based story that we don't talk about, except for when we talk about it and say how bad it is. But other than that, we don't talk about it. Season 17, Destiny of the Daleks. Interesting choice. 18, Keeper of Traken and Legopolis. 19, Visitation in Earthshock. 20, The Five Doctors. 21, Caves of Androzani. Which I think it's the first time I've seen Caves mentioned on the list. Interesting. You'll have to forgive the air conditioning. My air conditioner was messed up all day, and they finally got it fixed. And it's so hot in Mississippi in the summer. It's so humid here that air conditioner may never be turned off again. 22, Revelation of the Daleks. 23, Terror of the Vervoids. 24, Paradise Towers. 25, Remembrance of the Daleks. And 26, Ghostlight or Survival. And he does add, I quite like the Visitation, to be honest, and Terror of the Zygons. He gets it right there. Are they the greatest in those seasons? Probably not. They have little things that always make me come back to them. And that's fair. That's fair. There are all sorts of stories that might not be the objective best that I have a strong enjoyment in watching. The poster child for that, for me, being, of course, Horns of Nimon. But I like Creature of the Pit, Nightmare of Eden as well. Thanks for sharing. Enjoyed watching. Bananas Are Good, which is quite possibly my favorite YouTube name ever, says, if I was saving stories for my own personal enjoyment rather than essential stories to show newcomers, I would choose Season 1, The Reign of Terror, which I love The Reign of Terror. It's a very underrated story, so it's nice to see it on here. The Time Meddler, The War Machines, Evil of the Daleks, The Web of Fear, The War Games, Inferno, yes, Mind of Evil, yes, The Sea Devils, The Green Death, The Time Warrior, Robot. I love seeing Robot get love. You guys know I love Robot. It's my favorite post-regeneration story. I have such a fondness for it, so it's nice seeing it on here. Seeds of Doom, Talons of Wing Chang, Horror of Fang Rock, Pirate Planet. Nice seeing Pirate get some love. Shada. We have an interesting one here with Megalos. Not my favorite episode of the season. I just want some comic wackiness. A comedic wackiness. I like Megalos. Very underrated stories. It is the classic Doctor Who story that I wish had been longer. It really needed a 5th or 6th episode. It just ends a little too abruptly for me. Season 19, Earthshock, and then Maldron Undead, and then Caves of Androzani. Mark of the Rani. He leaves season 23 completely blank. 24 is Delta and the Bannerman. Why? I mean, don't get me wrong. Bobby's going to love that. If Bobby sees this video, he's going to love that. He loves Delta and the Bannerman. But why? I just feel like all the stories that season surrounding it are better than that one. You're going to have to explain that one to me. I don't understand that one. I'm not saying I hate Delta and the Bannerman. I don't hate it, but I just don't like watching it. 25 is Remembrance, and 26 is Curse of Fenric. SubX0 says, okay, here goes. Season 1, the Daleks. Season 2, the Dalek Invasion of Earth. Season 3, the Celestial Toymaker. That's an interesting choice. 4 is the 10th Planet. He says, sorry, Trouton, I just love the Mondasian Cybermen. I do love the Mondasian Cybermen design. Season 5, Tomb of the Cybermen. Season 6, The War Games. 7, Inferno. 8, Terror of the Autons. 9, Day of the Daleks. Nice to see Day of the Daleks getting some love. 10, The Three Doctors. 11, The Time Warriors. 12, Genesis. 13, Pyramids of Mars. 14, Talons of Wing Chang. 15, Horror of Fang Rock. 16, Pirate Planet. 17, Shot Up, but he does add Really, Really Sorry, City of Death. 18, Full Circle. 19, Earthshock. 20, Enlightenment. 20th Anniversary of the Five Doctors. He was doing those separate. And to be fair, if I couldn't do Five Doctors on a technicality, I would have picked Enlightenment too. I do love Enlightenment. 21, then he goes The Twin Dilemma, and then he goes, just kidding, it's the Caves of Androzani. I remember the first time I read that, there was this half second of, what? Especially, Season 22 is Vengeance on Varos. Season 23 is Trial of a Time Lord. And then, but he does add, I'd probably choose Mind Warp out of the separate stories if I had to. Although Terror of the Vervoid Special Edition is probably my favorite. And I appreciate you breaking them up into separate stories. Matter of fact, in the American listing system for the DVD range, they are done as separate stories. Here I've discovered recently, but here on our in the American US DVD range, they are considered 4 stories, not 1. But one time I can think us Americans got it right over the British people when we did Trial of the Time Lord accurately. It's 4 stories. It's as with a seasonal arc. Except in British people, I don't care what the credits say. Oh. And then for season 24, he says Paradise Towers. 25, Remembrance of the Daleks. And 26, The Curse of Fenric. He also lists the modern series, but I'm not going to get into that here. I'll probably do that video eventually. He says, making this list is so difficult. You lose so many great stories in doing so. However, I'm glad so many stories, how many great stories we do have and have had. Time Lash is greatly overhated, with some moments with the Doctor manipulating time and the Borat as a villain are really great. I also find the idea of the Time Lash and the fact they chunk everything into it when they don't like it both funny and initially dark, is they actually don't know that people survive it. No masterpiece, but a story I like. Time Lash especially benefits for the updated effects in the season 22 box set. I watched it for the first time with the updated effects, and I liked it. That and the makeup for the Borat is really well done, really well. With City of Death, it is great, but I do think I had different expectations of it considering how well regarded it is. To be fair, it is one of those stories that's built up so well, it's hard to live up to sometimes. On the other hand, with Shada, I had quite low expectations and heard mixed things, and then I found it to be a brilliant story that kept me entertained and had some very simple but also very great moments and premises. Both deserve to survive, and Shada should have been made originally, I agree. But I just love Shada more, which is fair. David Hammond, Ham, of course, says, okay, here we go, strap in. He goes, yeah, Fang Rock is 100% you need on your list. I already knew Fang Rock was going to be his season 15 story. I think Fang Rock is actually his favorite story. Season 1, Keys, great ideas in it. I do like the Keys of Marinus a lot. Season 2, Time Meddler. Setting I really like. Episode 1 is probably my favorite single episode of the show. It falls off a bit in the middle pace-wise and picks up again toward the end. Season 3 is the arc, really well written and paced. I do enjoy the arc. Season 4, not seen a full story from this yet. Go watch Power of the Daleks or the Macroterra. Those animations are phenomenal. Evil as well. All 3 of those really good. Season 5, Enemy of the World. Outstanding story with brilliant acting, direction, and cliffhangers. Season 6, The Mind Robber. Trancy and vivid, so unique of a concept. Season 7, Inferno. Perfection. I agree with you there. Season 8, Mind of Evil. Acting and script is really well done. Season 9, Day Special Edition. Not a fan of this season. This is the only one I think is really good. I actually like Season 9 myself now that I've seen it all. Season 10 is Carnival, inventive and fun. Season 11, Invasion of the Dinos, engaging script. Season 12, we have the Ark in Space, yes. Set design, iconic. Just really prefer it over Genesis. And hey, Season 12 has 2 masterpieces. You can pick between them. Season 13, Pyramids of Mars. It's so iconic. I do love me some Pyramids of Mars. It was like, what, my third or fourth favorite when I was ranking the Tom Baker era. I think it was like number 3 or 4. It was up there. Season 14, Robots of Death. Probably the best cast in the show alongside Fang Rock. Plus the costumes are perfect and timeless. And the set design for the interior of the ship is also really good. Season 15, of course, is Fang Rock. I knew that one going in. Compact set design along with a real feeling of constant atmosphere and isolation, perfectly paced with a genius idea for a villain. Season 16, Power of Prowl. What? Why? Oh, okay, he actually writes why. I might as well read it. Brilliant script. To be fair, the script is decent. It's Bob Holmes. It's not his best script, but the script itself is fine. I don't really have qualms with the script. And great scenes of wit from Tom. My favorite script of the season, and I really like the location work. Season 17 is City of Death. Perfect. Season 18, State of Decay, atmosphere, and the script. State of Decay is mine as well for season 18. Season 19, Forward to Doomsday. I love that. I love Forward to Doomsday. It's easily my second favorite story of season 19, I believe. I think I even would prefer it over Earthshock. I love that one. I love rewatching that story. It is very underrated and doesn't get the attention it deserves. Intelligent writing and neat concepts. Monarch is a well thought out character. Well put. Love Forward to Doomsday. Nice to see it on the list. Season 20, 5 Doctors. Only one I've watched from the season. I actually really like season 20. And if you get a chance, you should watch it. Hopefully we'll get an announcement on that box set soon. If we haven't by the time this airs. Season 21 is Caves of Androzani. Brilliant story. Season 22, Attack of the Cybermen. Redemption arc is really well done. A great way to end the story. The initial reveal of the Cybermen was really well done. Season 23, Vervoids, no contest for me. The only great story of the season. Wasn't keen on Mysterious Planet. I like Mysterious Planet. Mind Warp is the one I'm not too keen on. Season 24 is Dragonfire. Pacing is good and the cast are decent. Season 25, Greatest Show. Which is the only story probably from season 25 I'm not keen on. The clown performances are unbelievable. They are. The head clown is great in that story. Let me be clear, I don't like Greatest Show in the Galaxy, but it's perfectly watchable. And to be fair, I've also only seen it the one time, so it's probably due a rewatch. Anyone who wants to send it on to the P.O. Box, I'll give it a rewatch. Because I don't own that one. The clown performances are unbelievable. Scariest character in Classic Who, no debate. There would be debate, sir. There would be debate. But he is really good in the role. And I like the girl who turns into the werewolf, too. I think she does a really good job in it. 26, Ghostlight. Nice to see Ghostlight getting some attention. He says, perfect. The ambiguous nature of it makes it so rewatchable. That's true. Remember the first time I watched Ghostlight and I didn't know what was going on. I remember the last time I watched Ghostlight where I still, to a degree, am not 100% sure what's going on. That's Ghostlight. It's nice to see it getting some love here. Paul Bailey, a fellow Doctor Who YouTuber, says, for me, Season 1, The Aztecs, The Dalek Invasion of Earth, The War Machines, Power of the Daleks, The Tomb of the Cybermen, The Invasion, Inferno getting a lot of love on this list. I'm loving it. Terror of the Autons, The Sea Devils getting a lot of love on this list too. The Three Doctors, Planet of the Spiders. I find Planet of the Spiders to possibly be my least favorite of season 11. No, I don't think so, because I think I have Monsters of Peladon below it. I'm not sure, actually. I just ranked that era, and I can't remember where Planet fell. It was pretty low. Genesis of the Daleks, The Brain of Morbius, The Robots of Dearth. I'm pretty sure you meant Robots of Death. Horror of Fang Rock, The Pirate Planet. Horror of Fang Rock getting a lot of love on this. Pirate Planet getting some love on this. City of Dearth, City of Death. Logopolis, Earthshock, The Five Doctors, Resurrection of the Daleks, Revelation of the Daleks, Mysterious Planet. Nice to see someone that agrees with me on Mysterious Planet. I appreciate that, Paul. Such a good story. I really like the incidental music. Dragonfire, also one I'm fond of. Remembrance of the Daleks and Curse of Fenric. Excellent choices. Doctor Who's Magical Entertainment, that's a pretty cool screen name, says Season 1, The Reign of Terror. Again, I like seeing The Reign of Terror get some love. I like that one. Here's a fun one for Season 2, The Space Museum. A very underrated story in classic Doctor Who. I do agree with the sentiment that Episode 1 is easily the standout and the best, but I actually think Episodes 2, 3, and 4 are fine. I enjoy them. They're not as good as Episode 1. They kind of turn into a more ordinary Doctor Who story, but they're fine. They're not bad. They're not bad by any means. I enjoyed the Space Museum. So it's nice to see it getting some love. For Season 3, we have The War Machines and then Evil of the Daleks. Enemy of the World, The Mind Robber, Inferno again. Mind of Evil again. The Time Monster, another interesting choice here. The Time Monster getting Season 9. And again, The Time Monster, a very underrated story. I've only seen it the one time. I don't know how it'll hold up on rewatch. But I enjoyed my watch through of The Time Monster. Especially at the end. It really picked up once they got into Atlantis and Ingrid Pitt. And the costume designer for Ingrid Pitt. Both deserve thumbs up. I really like me some Ingrid Pitt. So it's nice to see Time Monster get some love. Season 10, we have the 3 Doctors, and then Invasion of the Dinosaurs. Revenge of the Cybermen. Now, you guys know I love Revenge of the Cybermen. It is probably the most underrated story in Doctor Who, in my opinion. If I had to pick the most underrated story in Doctor Who, it's probably Revenge of the Cybermen. So it makes my day to see someone pick it over Genesis and Ark in Space. That's awesome. 13, we have the Android Invasion. Well, nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect. But to be fair, Android Invasion, while I still consider it the weakest of Season 13, I consider Season 13 the greatest series probably the show's ever put out. Greatest season, whatever you want to call it. And Android Invasion is still a good story. Still a great story. Talons of Wing Chiang, The Invisible Enemy. That's an interesting choice for Season 15. Invisible Enemy over Horror of Fang Rock. Let's not tell Ham. Let's not tell Ham. He might show up at your house. Ham takes his Horror of Fang Rock seriously. The Armageddon Factor, Shada, Meglos. Nice once again to see Meglos getting some love. The Visitation, The 5 Doctors. Frontios. Yes, nice to see Frontios get some attention. I do like Frontios a lot. The 2 Doctors. I do love the 2 Doctors. Anytime Troughton's in a multi-doctor story, he just steals it. He steals the show every time. The Ultimate Foe for Season 23, and then Dragonfire, Happiness Patrol, and Battlefield. Nice to see someone else agreeing with me about Happiness Patrol. I'm not sure which one I picked there. Happiness Patrol is my favorite of the season probably, but I probably would have picked to keep Remembrance just for other people. But it's nice to see Happiness Patrol beating out Remembrance and Greatest Show on somebody's list. So I really, really like this. And Season 26 being Battlefield, seeing it get some love. So I really, really like that. Ned D says Marco Polo, the Romans. He said, I almost went with the rescue just for the climactic scene. That's fair. The Daleks Master Plan, The Underwater Menace. Said he would have gone with Evil if it had more existing episodes, which they've been animated, so they kind of do. But Underwater Menace, Enemy of the World, The War Games, Inferno, The Daemons. I can't really criticize that choice because I could understand why someone would pick The Daemons. Because while I'm not as enamored with it, I do understand why people like it as much as they do. And I can understand why it would be kind of the strongest story of the season for some people. Season 9, The Mutants. Very interesting. I also enjoyed my watch through of The Mutants. I saw it for the first time recently. And again, I find it a very underrated story. So it's nice to see it getting some love here. Carnival of Monsters, a very underrated Robert Holmes story that I think a lot of modern Who fans, if they're catching the cliff notes of classic Who, might miss just because they're not aware of it. Such a good story. Invasion of the Dinosaurs, Genesis of the Daleks, Reign of Morbius, Talons of Wing Chang, Horror of Fang Rock, The Ribos Operation, always happy to see it get some love. City of Death, yes. Warrior's Gate, he said it's hard to choose between that and State of Decay, and that's fair. I choose State of Decay, but Warrior's Gate is a well-written script and that is really well realized on screen. Season 19, The Visitation, Also one I'm very fond of. I love the Visitation. The location work looks so good. Enlightenment, The Caves of Androzani, Revelation of the Daleks. Mind Warp, could have also chosen The Ultimate Foe for Colin's speech. Delta and the Bannerman. Well, nobody's perfect. Bobby's going to love this, though. He's going to be happy that Delta's getting some love here. Silver Nemesis, just because I haven't picked a Cybermen story yet. And Curse of Fenric. And Happy Man 050 says, how about doing an Armageddon with 10 Classic Who stories you would want Armageddon to destroy so as to save all the other stories? Please, not the Web Planet. So if you had to sacrifice 10 classic stories, sounds like an interesting idea. Lance says, good old Lance. Lance says, man, again? He goes, joking, below is my list. It's a mixture of historical significance and favorites. Fair enough. Yeah, I know, man. The world just always ends around me, apparently. He says, an unearthly child, the Dalek invasion of Earth, the Ark, but only since Dalek's master plan is 3/4 missing, the power of the Daleks, even though it's animated, Tomb of the Cybermen, the War Games, Spearhead from Space, Terror of the Autons, the Sea Devils. The Sea Devils has had a lot of love in this. The Three Doctors, Planet of the Spiders. Planet of the Spiders has gotten far too much love in this, I think, just because it's a regeneration story. Which I can understand somebody wanting to keep because of that. Robot, Tom's first story, I have to, that's fair, and I love Robot. Pyramids of Mars, yes. Talons of Wing Chang, yes. Horror of Fang Rock, of course, he even adds the of course. Stones of Blood for the one being the 100th story. City of Death, Logopolis, since it's Tom's last story. Earthshock, not only Cybermen, but Adric dies. Best thing J&T did. The Five Doctors, The Caves of Androzani. The Two Doctors, Troughton's last appearance. The Trial of a Time Lord. He goes, one big story for me. I consider that cheating. I know technically that's correct, but I think us Americans do that better when we separate it into 4 stories, which is the only time I can say we do anything better ever than y'all. Paradise Towers, first McCoy I ever watched. I love Paradise Towers. Remembrance of the Daleks and Survival, since it's the last story. And then he added, love your Catra figure behind you and Mum-Ra too. Thank you. We've got a few of them today, Lance. Lance also collects collectibles. Give you a little shot there in case you hadn't seen some of them. We got our L&J toy-colored Lion-O. I have the cartoon-colored one over there, but they did release a wave with the toy colors. I do have the vintage L&J figure put up right now as well. I love the original 80s Thundercat toys. That was my favorite cartoon as a kid. And Happy Man 050 added in here. Here we go. The Aztecs, the Romans. Nice to see the Romans get some love. The Romans is an interesting one because once you approach it knowing that it's a comedy, that it's purposely meant to be a comedy, you can have a lot of fun with it. If you go into it expecting Spearhead from Space, Inferno, Genesis of the Daleks, Caves of Androzani, you're not going to have a good time. But if you embrace it for the comedy that it is, it's a lot of fun. And number 3, we have the War Machines, the Moon Base. Finally, somebody picks the Moon Base. I love the Moon Base, so it's nice to see the Moon Base get some love. Tomb of the Cybermen, the War Games, Spearhead from Space, the Mind of Evil, the Sea Devils. Ooh, a lot of people picking the Sea Devils. The Green Death, the Time Warrior, Genesis of the Daleks, Pyramids of Mars, Robots of Death, Horror of Fang Rock. Horror, of course, is winning most of these, I see, for season 15. Ham's going to be so proud. The Androids of Tara, we haven't seen that much on this one. So it's nice to see it get some love. 1, I like the location work in that. 2, Mary Tam is just putting in a tour de force of performances. 3, I love her purple outfit in this story, which I believe she designed herself, or else she bought herself, one or the other. City of Death, the Leisure Hive. Ooh, the Leisure Hive. Ooh. That is the one story in season 18 I don't like. That's the only one. It's perfectly watchable. But when I was ranking the Tom Baker era, it was literally in 41st place, so second from the bottom. Only Kroll ranked lower than it. But it's still perfectly watchable. I still like to go back and rewatch it. And the aged makeup on Tom looked really good, better than some of the aged makeup they use and stuff nowadays. But ooh. Season 19 is Earthshock, 20 is the Five Doctors, 21 Resurrection of the Daleks, 22 Mark of the Ronnie. Nice to see Mark of the Ronnie getting some love. I really enjoyed that one. Terror of the Vervoids, Paradise Towers, Remembrance of the Daleks, Ghostlight. And then he added Doctor Who, the TV movie, as he considers the Eighth Doctor classic. All of Pertwee and Tom Baker's first 3 seasons could have had 2 stories. Understandable, because those are such good seasons. Craig Bradwell said, "Great video. Can you do a video on what novelization is better than the actual TV episodes for me?" That would be a good one. I'll actually read your list, because The Pirate Planet is probably a little better than the TV version. Stones of Blood, I probably like a little better than the TV version. The Daleks, with David Whittaker's The Daleks, I like better than the TV version. I'm trying to think of what else. There are some good ones. I really enjoyed the novel of the Space Pirates. I haven't watched the TV version, but I very much enjoyed the novelization of the Space Pirates. So there are definitely some of the novels that they're just a great alternate way to experience TV stories as well. Even if you wouldn't consider them necessarily better, it's great to have an alternate way to look at some of them. So Craig says, the first Doctor, The Massacre, I've read the novel and listened to the vinyl and love the novel better. I love historicals. The second Doctor, he went with The Invasion. I think Ian Marter really brought darkness and violence to the novel and did Packer and Vaughn justice. For the third Doctor, he says Ambassadors of Death. The novel gets across much better than 7 episodes. I would probably agree with that. Matter of fact, I probably have the Ambassadors of Death. Flyattractor sent me a lot of novels, so I probably have that. I need to read that, actually. Fourth Doctor, Pirate Planet. What a novel. Goes into detail much better in 4 episodes. I did enjoy the novel of the Pirate Planet a lot, especially since the novelization that I believe Simon sent me was based more on Douglas Adams' original script, so it's got a lot of extra stuff in there that's not even in the TV story. It's really, really good. Fifth Doctor, Resurrection of the Daleks novel is far better than the TV episode. I wonder if part of that's due to the Resurrection of the Daleks really needs some updated effects. It's a great story, but it really suffers from its special effects. It really needs updated effects. Revelation of the Daleks, again, novel goes into much more details, probably gruesome details. And the 7th Doctor, Remembrance of the Daleks, again, that section on the Omega, Rassilon, and others really expands Time Lords. Yeah. The Strange Light Bulb, I haven't seen him in a minute. I hope he's doing all right. It says, I'm going to skip the seasons where I haven't seen enough of the stories to justify my opinion, which, funnily enough, is all of the seasons with a Blu-ray collection set release. Although he does have a couple of them that are on there. Season 8, Terror of the Autons, almost chose Claws of Axos, though. No, you made the right choice. Season 10, 3 Doctors, Green Death's good too. Season 12, Genesis of the Daleks. 14, Talons. 16, Ribos Operation. 17, City of Death. 18, State of Decay. 19, The Visitation. 22, Time Lash. I love it. Was gonna go with Vengeance, but I want to ruffle some people's feathers. Again, I find Time Lash, especially with the updated effects, a lot of fun. I mean, it's not essential Doctor Who, it's a lot of fun. Paul Darrow is obviously having a great time shooting the scenery, and I love watching every second of it. 23 says, gotta go with Trial of a Time Lord. Cheeky. 24, Dragonfire, and 26 is Ghostlight. Flyattractor, who of course is also one of my patrons and has sent me several packages. His are always the ones that are fun to get into. He even sent me a box cutter in the last one to help get into them. He says, the quote-unquote lucky thing is there are so many Armageddons around here that most of our classic series should already be in the bunkers by now. So, and I replied, these Armageddon scenarios are to prepare you in case a real one happens. By then, all of the classic Who stories should be in the bunker. And he goes, heck, I moved into the bunker years ago. I'm already set. And I told him, don't forget to move your Whittaker era, Series 11, 12, and Flux down there as well. I know how much you prize those. And he goes, probably a good idea. Who knows what kind of monster could be created if radiation and chemical fallout got to those. And I said, Chris Chibnall. They create Chris Chibnall. Then he travels back in time and creates the Whittaker era. You'll notice through all of this, he still managed to sneak out of giving me his list here. He's good at that. He doesn't actually give me his 26 list. We got so caught up in the conversation, he didn't give me his list. And DP Hill, who I not only know here, but he is also a frequent member of the Doctor Who merchandise forum, which I frequent as well, said, I posted a comment under the merchandise guide and wondered if you'd fancy talking about Sarah Jane Adventures on the collection sets. I have not watched a lot of the Sarah Jane Adventures. I have seen the first 2 episodes and the 2 episodes with the Doctors. So I've seen the first 2 stories, didn't really get enamored with it. I've seen The Wedding of Sarah Jane Smith with Tennant and Death of the Doctor with Matt Smith. Those are the only ones I've watched. I do want to watch The Enemy of the Bane, though, with the Brigadier in it, that 2-parter. I haven't ever seen it, but I would like to watch it at some point. And that seems to be everybody's choices. Horror of Fang Rock, strong showing. Sea Devil, strong showing. And Pirate Planet and Right Mouse Operation got some nice love. City of Death was, of course, on there a lot. You know, a lot of them I expected to see, but there were some nice other ones that popped up a lot. It's interesting to see Sea Devils get so many choices. Not a lot of many people picking Day of the Daleks. That surprised me. So, that was your thoughts. If you would like to know the ones I picked, check out my video on that. So if you enjoyed this Knights of the Round Table video, it is a series I do. Go ahead and click the like button and the subscribe button. That helps me out, and I certainly appreciate it. I am trying to reach 1,000 subscribers in 2023. I also have a Patreon. If you would like to contribute to that, there is a link to that down in the description below. That does help me keep the bills paid, especially lately with rent being so high the past couple of years. But several different tiers to choose from there. I want to give a shout out to some of my top tier patrons, Stephen Crane, Tim Perkins, and Colin Coney. I do appreciate their support, as I do the support of all of my patrons. I have a P.O. box. If there's anything you would like to send me to look at and review, want me to take another stab at greatest show in the galaxy, see if I'll appreciate it more, send it on to me. I also have a link to my Amazon wish list up there as well. I update that regularly. Most importantly, though, thank you for watching.